the greatest news of this millennium. Osama Binladen, the leader of Al-Qaeda, the murderer of nations and thousands of people's families, has been killed. 4 a.m. in Pakistan, not more than 115 kilometres from Islamabad and only a kilometre away from a military academy of the Pakistani ISI and Pakistani military. The leader of Al-Qaeda was killed by US Navy SEALs at 4 a.m. His wife, some would say bravely, tried to shield him as using herself as a human shield. She too was killed. His son was killed, and Osama bin Laden tried to fight back. A helicopter crashed during the raid, but it was not brought down by enemy fire, according to news reports. Which brings me on to the subject of the AFP report, which I will now play for you so you can listen.
The world's most wanted man is dead. Osama bin Laden was killed Sunday in a U.S. commando operation in Pakistan, an historic moment nearly a decade after the September 11th attacks.
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
So, is it over? One man said, he's dead, it's over. Let peace reign. But is it over? I asked the Bin Laden family themselves, are they prepared to put down the gun and the knife? Are they prepared to put the knife on the table and then come to a peace with the West? Or shall the Western way of war continue until you are completely annihilated? Will we see an invasion of Pakistan now, since they have been complicit or even run by the Bin Laden crime family themselves? Will we see the invasion of Saudi Arabia and Yemen by the West? These are all things that I've been saying for the past 4 years on my channel, that we need an invasion of the Saudi Arabia to end this war the only way it could have been ended, and that is the invasion of the country who was behind it. It's not just the Bin Ladens, but the Saudi Arabian crime family that runs Saudi Arabia that's responsible for 9/11 and the thousands of other deaths of people in the Islamic world and the Western world. The Western world said with some jubilation and relief. The Muslim world said it with some reservations, but overall relief that this man, this abomination against humanity and God, died in the way he did. He did show some bravery, and he was a worthy adversary of the West. I will even say that. He in meeting Osama bin Laden, journalists said he was a gentle and quiet-spoken man, although this belied the radicalism and ferocity of his ideology, which described democracy as idolatry. Many people will meet Osama bin Laden's words and deeds with the song "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." But how can we fight him, without just slogans such as this?
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the
It takes more than a war song to defeat Al-Qaeda. It takes intelligence. It takes incrementalism, the Fabian Western way of war, which I've described in my other videos. And that was by the following of the courier to Bin Laden's home. I was surprised when I found out about his death that it was not in Saudi Arabia, as this is where I believed he was staying. But it was not surprising that he was in a luxury villa. This man who was brought up in the lap of luxury, who had an idyllic childhood, who never suffered oppression from the West, but even more so, he was part of the Western world himself, although a radical Islamic preacher. Who is left of Al-Qaeda now? Well, the Bin Laden crime family, who have construction and oil companies and banks, are supplying Al-Qaeda. But Al-Qaeda itself is a decimated organisation in Afghanistan. There may be as few as 50 members of Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, while the more knuckle-headed Taliban are there to wage a war through the drugs money that they get from the opium trade. What is certain is that the Bin Ladens have vast amounts of wealth and vast amounts of people to conduct this war if they wish to continue. The West has not seen the end of Al-Qaeda. It has many affiliates in the Islamic Maghreb, that's Mali mostly, and has been kicked out of other countries due to the Arab Spring and the awakening of Arab democracy, which I welcome. But the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, based in Yemen, is the fundamental clog in the wheel, which can they disrupt the entire process of Arab democracy. Well, with the Houthi rebels in the north, Iran backing them, and set against the Saudi Arabians may choose to back Al-Qaeda in Yemen, or they may choose to back Ali Abdel Saleh in Sana'a, in the Yemenese capital. But the Bin Ladens still have strong support in Yemen, and it may take an invasion of Yemen by Western powers led by the United States and the EU and Great Britain to achieve an overall victory in Yemen. There is also the question of Somalia, which I said in my video, Boer Republic, independent Boer Republic, and a new Jewish homeland. Well, I'm not Jewish myself, but I do support the creation of a second Jewish state in the original ancient homeland of the Jews in Kush and Ethiopia, to deal with the problem of insecurity in the Horn of Africa. Second Israel, so to speak. But I'm not a Zionist, by the way. There is serious problems in America between the Saudi Arabian lobby and the Israeli lobby, which need to be sorted out, and America needs to cut its ties with both. Obama has been able to give this announcement during his presidency will make him, in history, one of the greatest American presidents, although I have serious reservations about his economic policy. What he needs to do is end the Fed. The central bank, which is pumping money into the Islamic banking system through its exportation of inflation through the petrodollar system. This is what is giving Al-Qaeda its major funding. Now, I'm not saying that there was a conspiracy between the Bin Ladens and the Fed on 9/11. It's clear that the Bin Ladens used corridor of fear tactics, that is, threatening one person's family after another until they got to the objective on 9/11 of getting into those buildings, and they may have even used controlled demolition of those buildings together with the aeroplane strikes. What is not widely known is that the Bin Ladens were involved heavily in construction, and the Thatcher family of Great Britain, who were in control of Britain during the 80s, allowed them into this country, Great Britain, in a controversial move. It was not controversial at that time. What is controversial about this video, perhaps, is that I seriously fear that now Osama Bin Laden is dead, that the Bin Laden crime family will get away with it, and so will the Saudi Arabian crime family. They will get away with 9/11 because the black sheep of the family has been slaughtered. Whereas Osama Bin Laden did have some morals, in that he went to fight against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. His family and the Saudi Arabian royal family clearly do not, and they can only be defeated through an invasion of those of Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and Yemen, as I've said before. Check out my series Bin Laden's Evil Bastards. That will give you much more information on the Bin Laden crime family, and I may do a follow-up video to this video. What can we say about Osama Bin Laden? He was a worthy opponent. But now he's dead, and I'm glad that he's dead.